If you want to up the street appeal for your 2021 or newer 2.7 liter Bronco, this Corsa Performance Sport catback exhaust system with the black tips will be right up your alley. This system will be great for the Bronco owners who want a premium system that will give you aggressive notes out of the 2.7 without any annoying drone. Now, talking about pure volume, this will come in at a 3 out of 5 on the loudness meter, with 1 being completely stock and 5 being wake the neighbors loud. So this will be great if you want to hear it when you get on it, but still want to enjoy a comfortable cab, whether you're dailying your Bronco on the highway or just cruising back roads. This will feature a pretty simple yet an effective design of getting a throatier and deeper note out of the 2.7 liter. Now, the system will also feature a no drone reflected sound cancellation technology, so that exhaust noise that you're getting will keep it mostly to the exterior, but when you're cruising in high gear, you're not even going to notice that this is there. Now, with the less restriction and the more open flow from this system, it is going to affect that sound, as we all know, but you will get a little bit of a performance gain just because of the higher and smoother flow out of this system. So you may be able to feel a little bit in your throttle response, as well as, more importantly, hear the turbo a little bit better. Now, the dual exit black tip design will also just look great and add to the aggressive feel of the Bronco if a stealthier and more sinister look is what you're chasing. This will have a 2 3/4 inch mandrel bent, high quality 304 stainless steel build for smooth and unobstructed airflow, like I said before, and optimal rust resistance because of the high quality materials. The muffler will also have a high tuck center forward location to maximize departure angles and reduce any damage if you are taking your Bronco off-road and want a system that's going to stay out of the way. Now, the tips on the back will definitely make a statement with a 4-inch flat cut stainless construction with a black powder coat and Corsa branded right on top. Now, with being a premium system, you'll also see that the hangers are going to be identical to factory, and you're also not going to have to worry about any cutting or welding with a full bolt-on construction, including all of the hardware out of the kit. This will come in at about $1,300, and for what it is, the quality and the sound do speak for themselves on this one. Compared to other choices, this will have everything that you would want out of a mildly aggressive dual rear exit catback for your Bronco. The price tag is well worth it when it comes to the rust resistance, no drone, and off-roading benefits that Corsa intentionally put into their design. Now, if a high quality and good looking and tough sounding system is what you're going for with your Bronco's exhaust, then this is definitely one to consider. As I mentioned before, the install is going to be completely bolt-on and will be a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. This whole process should take you around 4 hours to get the job done. Now, at this point, that's going to wrap it up for what I have to say. Let's head over to our shop and check out a detailed step-by-step breakdown on how you can get this onto your Bronco at home.
The tools used for this install are a ratchet, an impact gun, a 15mm socket, 10mm socket, exhaust hanger tool, and some lubricant. Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to install a Corsa catback exhaust on your 21 and newer 2.3 liter Bronco, but before we get started, let's take a quick look at how to get the factory exhaust system off your truck.
So to remove the axle back portion of our exhaust, we have a clamp with a 15mm nut on it that we'll have to loosen up, as well as a couple hangers that we'll have to remove. So we can take a 15mm socket to loosen up our nut on our clamp. Next, we can pop our hanger out of our isolator using a pair of exhaust hanger removers. And now we can do the same thing on the other side for our other isolator. So now once we have all of our hangers removed, we can pull back on our muffler to remove it. Now once we have the axle back portion of our exhaust removed, we can come up to our flange. We have 2 15mm nuts that we need to remove, and then 2 10mm bolts that hold our hanger. So now we can take a 15mm socket to remove our 2 nuts. Next, we can grab a 10 millimeter socket for our 2 bolts holding in our hanger. Now lastly, we can remove our hanger that's right above the axle. So we'll get a hanger remover tool. Let's pop that out. And now we can slide our pipe off of our flange up front and remove our exhaust pipe.
So the first step of this install is going to be installing the supplied hanger bracket using the factory hardware that we removed earlier. And that's going to go right here next to the exhaust pipe where the cat bolts up. And then I'm going to take my 10 millimeter socket on my ratchet and tighten those down. Now that I have that mounting bracket securely bolted to the frame, I'm going to take a little bit of lubricant and I'm going to lube up my exhaust hanger, and then I can install my muffler inlet pipe. Then I can align that with the 2 studs on the flange, and I'm going to use my 2 factory 15 millimeter nuts to tighten those down. I'm going to use my 15 millimeter socket on an impact gun and tighten up those 2 flange nuts. With my muffler inlet pipe hung and bolted down, now I'm ready to install my muffler. I'm going to start with a clamp, slide it over the end of the pipe, and then I can slide my muffler onto the end of that. And I'm just going to use a pole jack to support my muffler until I get my over axle pipe installed. And now I can slide my clamp into place, and I'm just going to snug that down a little bit, just enough to hold it there, but not over tighten it so I can make adjustments. I'm going to use my 15 millimeter socket on my impact gun and snug up the clamp. Once again, just tight enough to hold things in place while I assemble the rest of the exhaust system, but not so tight that I can't move anything around. Now I'm ready for my over axle pipe. I'm going to use a little bit of lubricant just to lube up the rubber hanger so I can slide everything into place nice and easily. And I've got my clamp pre-installed over the flared end of the inlet pipe for the over axle. Now that my over axle pipe is in place, I can go ahead and remove my pole jack support from underneath my muffler. Once again, with my 15 millimeter socket, I'm just going to snug up this clamp to hold things in place while I install the rest of the system. There we go. Now onto the other side of the axle, I'm ready to install my Y pipe onto the end of the over axle pipe. I'm going to slide in my exhaust hanger here in the rubber isolator, and I'm going to lube that up just a little bit to make things easier. And then I'm going to slide my clamp into place and snug everything down. Now I can go ahead and install my final exhaust pipe by sliding the hanger rod into the isolator. And slipping that over the end of the Y pipe. And then I can slide my clamp into place, snug it down with a 15 millimeter socket. Finally, I can install my left and right side tips. I already have the clamps installed. Once I get these into place, I can go back and make any adjustments that I need to and then fully tighten down my clamps using my 15mm socket.
So that is going to wrap it up for my review and the install of this Corsa Performance Sport Catback exhaust system fitting all 2021 and newer 2.7 liter Ford Broncos. And you can find this right here at extremeterrain.com.